transportation of NDIA machinery and equipment, fuel, timber mats, tractor pumping of water and carting away of spoils and debris, 183,329,000. An operation of NDIA machinery and equipment in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10, 55,622,000, giving a total of 2,528,090,000.
Thank you, Minister. Member Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, could the Honorable Minister say how many vehicles were repaired costing $17 million and what were the major damages on these vehicles?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, NDIA has a number of vehicles in various regions. So you have 25 vehicles repaired to, and I can go through what are the type of repairs that were done. Repairs to undercarriage of NDIA vehicle PTT 5413, 302,000. General servicing and diagnosis of NDIA bus PUYY 5426, 230. Repair to engine and cooling system of NDIA vehicle PXX 4990, 1.320. Repair to the suspension of NDIA vehicle PYY 1382, 411,000. Diagnostic and repair to engine of NDIA vehicle and other spares, 1.5 million. Diagnosis and repair to engine and fuel system of NDIA vehicle PXX 3242 9448, 1.4 million. Installation of turbo engine and NDIA bus PYY 4424, 1.4. Overhauling of engine for NDIA vehicle PRR 9448, 1.4. PRR 9329 gauge and alignment, 130,000. PAC 6052 servicing, 116,000. Battery for 3454, 43,000. PAE 2566 purchase of windscreen, 399,000. PAE 2566 servicing and tires for that vehicle, 750,000. PXX 5470 servicing, 300,000. Repair to PW 6593, 800,000. PAC computer system and bumper, 484,000. Servicing of NDIA vehicle PWW 6593, 101,000. I can give you a total of that.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, I'm just seeking clarity. The number went a bit fast. PAE something. 395,000 for a windshield. What type of vehicle is that?
Honorable Minister.
There is a double cab Vigo pickup, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Nissan Navara.
Vigo.
Oh,
Toyota.
Vigo. Yes.
Honorable members, I now put a question.
Sorry. Could the Honorable Minister also say,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, there are a number of mechanics that service NDIA based on the price range because of the different type of work that has to be done.
Thank you, Minister. Just let the technician check the row with the honorable members, Walter Mazir and Ms. Roy Jordan. Microphones.
right, could the Honorable Minister be kind enough to give us a list of those mechanics by repairs, or be kind enough to lay it over?
Honorable Minister, would you lay it over?
Sure, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I now put a question that is sum stated for Agency Code 21-212, Chart of Account 6321, Current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Same agency code, chart of account 1301600, NDIA, capital expenditure. And I propose the question that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, sir. I see $2.9 billion. Could the honorable minister be kind enough to disaggregate this sum?
Honorable Minister.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, this disaggregation is as follows. Procurement of mini and amphibious excavator for NDIA, 5 minis, lot 1, 45 million. Procurement of mini and amphibious excavator for NDIA, 2 amphibious, lot 2, 150 million. Supply and delivery of 2 long boom excavator for NDIA, 74.5 million. Construction of access road at Canal number 2, Conservancy Dam, West Bank, Demerara, region number 3, 80 million. Rehabilitation of farm to market road on Marias Lodge, West Bank, Demerara, region number 3, 74.7 million. Fabrication installation of eastern and western stainless steel single door at Cottage, region number 5, 53 million. Fabrication installation of stainless steel door at Westbury, region number 2, 13.9 million. Fabrication installation of stainless steel door at Arnaminian Sluice, region number 2, 13.9. Fabrication installation of stainless steel door at Golden Fleece South Sluice, region number 2, 13.8. Rehabilitation of stainless steel door at La Union, Essequibo Coast, region 2, 13.9 million. Construction of stainless steel door, Middle and Southern Canal number 1 Sluice, West Bank, Demerara, 47.3. Supply and fabricate and install stainless steel door, which we already ordered at Abari, that failed the other day, in region number 5, 26.3 million. Dredging and excavation of outfall along the quarantine, region number 6, 206,300,000. Rehabilitation of 87 drainage and irrigation channel within the Essequibo Coast, region number 2, 139,042,000. Rehabilitation farm to market access road at Sparta, Essequibo, 14.6 million. Construction of DNI channel at Sand Hills, Lowood, Susanna's Ross, and Dora, West Bank, Demerara, region number 3, 109,840,000. Construction of DNI channel at Sand Hills, Lowood, Susanna's Ross, and Dora, East Bank, Demerara, region number 4, 116,104,000. Mechanical excavation of Kamuni Creek, region number 3, lot 1 and 2, 20 million. Construction of Krong Dam and main access dam from Platanka to Germanian, region number 6, 186,900,000. Rehabilitation of drainage channel, middle area, quarantine, region number 6, lot 1 to 10, 71.9 million. Rehabilitation of drainage channel within Liverpool, Wim, Letterkenny, Bengal, Yakasari, Manchester, region number 6, 134 million. Rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation channel in Haga Island and Bonasika, region number 3, 344,733,000. Rehabilitation internal drains located in number 51 Good Hope, NDC District, Quarantine, region number 6, 70.8 million. Rehabilitation of drainage channel from Upper East Bank, Borbies to Firish Village, East Bank, East Quarantine, Borbies, region number 6, 120 million. Rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation channel, West Kanji, region number 6, 68.1 million. Rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation channel, East Kanji, region number 6, 75.6 million. Rehabilitation of channel and DNI structure at Upper Pomeroon, region number 2, 185 million. Rehabilitation of DNI structure and desilting of drain in Lower Pomeroon, 95 million. Construction of drainage structure, 100-acre land clearing and 180 feet revetment, Baracara, region number 6, 90 million. Rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation channel in New Amsterdam and Molson Creek, region number 6, 95 million. Rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation channel in Belladrum, El Dorado area, region number 5, 40 million. Rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation channel in Mocha, East Bank, Demerara, Betavoacton, and Victoria, Buxton, East Coast, Demerara, 90.4 million. Rehabilitation of Welligen, Sideline, and Cross Channel, East Bank, Borbies, region number 6, 12.5 million. Mechanical excavation at Eastern Drainage Channel at Adventure, East Kanji, East Coast, Borbies, 13.3 million. Emergency work construction of timber revetment northern side of Mahaika Market Sluice, East Coast, Demerara, 13.2 million. Mechanical clearing of agricultural land for Nari Shade House Project, Bonasika, Essequibo River, Region Number 3, 6.3 million. Rehabilitation of sluice door and provision and installation of new lifting mechanism at Forest Avenue and 6th Street, Bartica, Region Number 7, 4.9 million. Construction of drainage and irrigation channel, Sand Hills Farming Area, West Bank, Demerara, 13.4 million. Construction of drainage and irrigation channel, Munish to Jasoja, Arjun Area, Kabakawaru Island, Essequibo, Region Number 2, 13.9. Construction of drainage and irrigation channel at Camp de Passat to Philip Area, Karabu Island, Essequibo, 13.8, giving you a total of 2.976788 billion.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, just to follow up. I see 5 mini, or I would have heard the Minister make mention of 5 mini excavators, 2 long booms, and another one I missed it because it was going fast. But could you say whether these excavators are for the regions like you did in the past, you gave it to different regional democratic councils to manage, or whether it is solely for NDIA?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, NDIA is still managing these machines, but we are working in close collaboration with the RDC, the NDCs, and most of the time, for example, now we are given also that the NDC manage these, but sometimes we are doing the operation and maintenance costs at NDIA level.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. And you mentioned also, Minister, that you there is a 53 million to be spent on a steel sluice door at Cottage. Just want to confirm this is Cottage, West Coast, Bubis, Region 5, or Myconi Cottage?
Myconi Cottage. Remember, we had a failure there where the pump is being built now, the Cottage pump station. We had a failure, so we put in stop log. Now we are building the steel structure there.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Right. Just wanted to confirm that. And at Cottage, where the works are being conducted, what percentage of works were completed thus far?
Honorable Member, Honorable Minister.
The entire pump structure have been constructed in terms of fabricated already, and only the basin in front remain and the pump to be installed. So I will say close to about 70% of the work would have completed already.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Minister, is it the same pump station that you said to us during the consideration in February that it was 80% completed and the completion deadline would have been March of this year? Or is this another pump station?
Honorable Minister.
Exactly, Mr. Chair, but the process is in liquidated damage now, and we are charging the contractor liquidated damage. And not only that project alone, a number of projects we have been charging liquidated damage. So we thought that he will complete it very shortly, but he'll still pay in liquidated damages for these.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, could the Honorable Minister now say to us what were some of the issues that caused the delay? Because we're seeing from March 30th and we had November almost completing the year 2024, and a span over 11 months, this contractor could not have completed 20% of work. And now you're saying it is 70%. What were those major setbacks?
Mr. Chair, the contractor would have reported, and also our engineer, that he suffered major failure in terms of the entire copper dam failed, and he had to put back a whole set of mechanism in place. That would have taken a lot of time to rebuild back the entire system. And that is why he went over the period. And then recently he had another failure, and he had to put a stop on the work for a period of time because of the failure of the sluice door. And we installed stop log. And because of that, he had to wait before we put proper system in place and finish. When that sluice collapsed, the entire system, the entire cofferdam collapsed, and the whole system were in a disarray. So he had to put back that in place. And also the engineer and the consultant told us that he had to correct a number of work in the steel, with the steel structure because of the saltwater encroaching on the steel. So he had to do those corrective work. And that is the reason he would have extended the time on the project.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, I do hear the minister with regards to the breaches and the works being set back. But in totality, Minister, can we conclude that this has part to do with the incompetence of the contractor, or is it totally blamed on God's creation or God's work?
Honorable Minister.
So, Mr. Chair, I can't say the incompetence of the contractor, but as I said, he suffered failure. But we are working with the rules. When this period of the liquidated damage period conclude, I will ensure that we write to the National Procurement Tender Administration, NDIA, that we terminate the contract if the contractor can complete the contract during that period.
Thank you, Minister. MP Jordan.
Will we continue to give him contracts, or will we blacklist? Will we continue to give him contracts? As a matter of fact, Mr. Chair, sorry, is it okay for the honorable minister to say to us who is that contractor? And I believe it was somewhere about $900 million that was awarded with that contract on 1st December 2021. He then had a completion date of September 2023, which then moved to March 2024. Who is the contractor?
Honorable Minister.
The contractor is Valve Construction, and for the honorable member information, Mr. Chair, we inform the National Procurement and Tender Administration about the performance of the contractor. If we terminate the contract, we'll inform the board, and they have the duty to give him contract or not, or blacklist him.
Thank you, Minister. MP Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, I think this might be my last question on this area, but I just want to confirm from the answer. During February, when the minister said to us that the pump station was 80% completed, is it that we can conclude now that the pump station was not 80% completed?
Minister.
It was, but as I said, the contractor and the contract suffered a lot of damages with the encroachment of the tide and at the failure. Then we had a regression of the work that was done. The steel, some of the steel would have had to change because of the salt water invaded that area. So what the honorable member is saying is true. Yes, it was at that point in time, but then we had a regression because of the failure.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, I don't want to be back and forth respectfully, but the honorable minister, just before he made mention of all the defects and difficulties, he mentioned that it was 75% completed to date. 75% completed to date, but in February the minister said it was 80% completed. So that is why I draw the conclusion that the 80% in February was not accurate compared to what the minister said just a few minutes ago, that it is 75%. When did the regression happen, Honorable Minister?
Minister.
Mr. Chair, there's two items. The basin, if the honorable member know what I'm talking about, where you discharge the water, the basin, and the discharge box. Those two items remain to be completed, and the pump house, and because now NDIA is procuring the pumps. We are procuring the pumps from the manufacturers. So now Morrison, any reputable contractors, manufacturers. So what the honorable member is saying is true. At that point in time, we had that completion, that percentage completion of work, but we had the failure, and it's two major issues remain to complete. It's the basin and the discharge box.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, honorable member, Mr. Jordan.
Yes, I'm finished with that, sir. At Barry, you said $26.3 million for the installation of a steel door. That was the sluice that gave way the other day, causing hundreds of residents to be flooded in Calcutta, Katrin, Nova, and other villages. When will this become or expected to be completed, please?
Honorable
So,
Minister.
Mr. Chair, the fabrication already started, and I think within 3 weeks' time that will be finished and installed there.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for chart of account 1301600 capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you very much, Minister and staff, for taking us through your line item. We are at Agency Code 26-264. Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. This is for the Ministry of Natural Resources, Petroleum Management.
Mr. Chairman, you conveyed condolences on behalf of yours to the Honorable Minister Vikram Bhatt. Please,
So you'll be answering?
I would be happy to take any questions on his behalf if
Minister,
there are any.
Senior Minister in the Office of the President has been asked to take this item. Agency Code 26-264, Chart of Account 4404600, Oil and Gas Development. And I propose a question that the sum stated herein on the capital specific stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would the Honorable Minister be kind enough to disaggregate the payments of 125.23 million, sir?
Honorable Minister Singh.
So, certainly, Mr. Chairman. And let me thank the honourable member for the question that he has posed. He will, of course, note that we are speaking here about specific resources, which are typically donor or development partner financed resources. In this instance, the honourable member would, of course, be aware that Guyana is the beneficiary of a Guyana Petroleum Resources Governance Management Project, which indeed I believe was approved prior to our assumption of office while the honourable member was himself a member of the then government. That project was approved. That project is a World Bank project. It was approved in 2019 and it is currently in execution. The total value of the project is $20 million US. And like I said, it's in execution. It addresses various institutional aspects of the petroleum sector, the oil and gas sector, strengthening of legal and institutional frameworks, and strengthening in particular of the capacity of key institutions to manage the sector. And there are a number of agencies that are beneficiaries of these resources, including, of course, the Ministry of Natural Resources itself, and other entities who have various mandates within the sector. The additional inflows are required because the pace of implementation of the project has picked up during the current year, and we anticipate that we'll be disbursing more than we had originally anticipated at the time of the budget. And so we expect now to disburse an additional $125 million, the amount indicated there. In response to the question that the honourable member asked, and I suspect he probably has some familiarity with the various components of this project, the $125,235,496 can be disaggregated across the following three components of the project. First, enhancement of legal frameworks and stake component A, as it is described in the project document, enhancement of legal frameworks and stakeholder engagement. That component accounts for the bulk of the resources being sought. It amounts for $102,786,718. Component B, capacity building of key institutions. That component accounts for $1,751,400. And component D, project management, and that component accounts for $20,697,378. And within those respective components, there are a number of activities being supported, and in relation to each, of course, in turn, a number of service providers who would be who would all have been contracted within the World Bank procedures, and all of whom would be in turn be in due course paid out of these additional World Bank resources for which we are seeking approval. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Well, I don't know if the Honorable Minister of Finance would be able to help us, but I'll give it a stab. Sir, in the same line item, budget estimates 2024, let's start. There was, under this same legal institution, there were $25 million at the time. That's what the ministers provided for studies, 4 studies, 5 actually. Produce water study, which he said will be completed very shortly. The block seismic activity, effective drilling and production and maritime, and then marine environmental study, as well as the data repository update. But he didn't call that as in this. I wouldn't go there as well. Can the Honorable Minister say what is the position of those studies?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I believe the honorable member preempted my likely response in his own prefatory remarks as he was posing the question. I'm not in possession of that information, but I'm sure that were he to table a question through the appropriate channel, the responsible minister would be more than happy to respond. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister.
Okay, so I take it that you wouldn't, on behalf of the minister, lay over the answers. All right. Sir, this amount, sir, we have two experts. They came free of cost, sir, apparently from Kuwait. Their services were, according to the minister, of course, free of cost, but their other administrative costs would be catered under this item, and they were producing a gas leak master plan. Can the Honorable Minister give this National Assembly an update on that? 1, did 2 experts from Kuwait arrive? And 2, what is the status of this gas leak master plan?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure that this is the occasion for random excursions into the sector. In relation to the resources that are being sought, I have already outlined the respective components for which we are seeking this financing.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Chair, with all due respect, sir, I'm reading from the answer to the responses given to me by the Honorable Minister of Natural Resources. Right? If the minister doesn't know, you can say so, but you can't say this in an incursion. Can I repeat my question, sir? Or do you want me to quote the answer, response given by the Honorable Minister of Natural Resources in the budget estimate for the enlightenment of the minister? It's not an excursion. These are the responses he gives, sir. And
The minister has answered. I'll ask him if he wants to prefer another answer.
Mr. Chairman, the honourable member is welcome to repeat his question. I am indisposed to repeat my answer.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, sir. Nice transparency here. All right. Enhancement of legal framework, sir, $102 million, sir. Right? Can the minister provide us, sir, what are the deliverables that will be derived from this enhancement of legal from component 1, sir?
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It would be recalled, Mr. Chairman, that when we assumed office in 2020, the oil and gas sector was completely devoid of a sound legal and regulatory framework. We inherited, for example, a Natural Resource Fund Act that was rife with egregious deficiencies and shortcomings, which we subsequently in December 2021 came to this House to amend, and succeeded only in doing so in the face. In fact, I should have pointed out, sir, that the first Natural Resource Fund, I should clarify, sir, that the first Natural Resource Fund Act was brought to this House after the APNU AFC had lost a no confidence motion, in the absence of any consultation with the then opposition, now government, in the absence of the participation of any members in the opposition benches, and a deliberately obtuse and deficient piece of legislation. We identified at that time, under the leadership of the then opposition leader, now Vice President, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, several of these deficiencies, and we indicated that upon our assumption of office, we will repair those deficiencies. We did so, it would be recalled, by bringing a new Natural Resource Fund bill, which was considered in December 2021, and that new Natural Resource Fund Act considerably strengthened the governance arrangements, including the transparency arrangements that would now require the publication of all receipts into the sector in the official gazette, that would ensure that all receipts are notified to this National Assembly, that would remove and eliminate the excessive ministerial and overreaching ministerial powers of that highly offensive piece of legislation that they rammed down the throats of the Guyanese people, that would ensure a simple and transparent formula for transferring resources from the fund to the consolidated fund, and that would introduce a board of directors for the very first time, and transfer to that board of directors the powers that were previously entirely concentrated in the hands of their Minister of Finance, a Minister of Finance who at the time incidentally denied knowledge of a signing bonus which was received and secreted in a bank account whose existence he denied more than 1 year after the bank account was established. Mr. Chairman, in addition, there was no local content framework, much less a local content act. We prepared a local content framework. We consulted with the oil and gas industry. We consulted with the non-oil private sector to identify sectors that could potentially benefit from participation in the oil and gas activities. We brought that, so we consulted extensively. We brought that local content bill to Parliament, which incidentally the APNU AFC objected to and voted against, thereby undermining the interests of the Guyanese private sector and the Guyanese society at large from benefiting from the oil and gas sector. Nevertheless, sir, the will of the majority of the people of Guyana prevailed, and the local content bill was enacted and is now in law, as a result of which hundreds of millions of US dollars worth of business have been generated to the benefit of the Guyanese private sector and to the benefit of the Guyanese people. Mr. Chairman, we prepared a new petroleum activities bill and brought it to this Parliament. It would be recalled, sir, that they were administering the sector under an ancient 1986 piece of legislation that predated the discovery of oil in this country. We prepared a modern petroleum activities law and brought it to this Parliament and enacted it, so we now have modern legislation. We prepared, sir, a new model PSA and consulted on it, and that model PSA formed the basis of the new blocks that we put out for auction, a public international auction that saw the participation of major international companies from around the world. All of those, Mr. Chairman, just to give you some examples, are evidence of the soundness with which the sector is being managed under this People's Progressive Party government, a soundness that was completely missing. That was completely missing under the APNU AFC government. But we continue, sir, Mr. Chairman, to further strengthen the sector. Some of the activities we're working on, including strengthening the HSE amendment, and in particular strengthening HSE regulation, strengthening the framework for, it would be recalled, sir, that when we came into government, Guyana had been ended from the EITA. We had to restore Guyana and allow standing with the EITI. And still wonder, sir, that Guyana was suspended from the EITI because their signing bonus, as I said earlier, was mysteriously parked in a secret bank account. Small wonder, sir, that the EITI secretariat suspended them from the EITI process. We are strengthening the EITI validation templates. We are continuing to do work on making sure that we improve the timeliness of our annual EITI reports. Like I said earlier, we introduced a Natural Resource Fund board. That board now produces a number of reports, and we're supporting that process. Just to name, sir, a few deliverables that have been, some of which have been supported under this project. And those are just a few examples, sir, to elaborate and elucidate.
Thank you, Minister.
Those are just a few examples, sir, of some of the initiatives that we're implementing under
Thank
this
you,
project.
Minister.
Thank you very
Honorable
much.
Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, thank you very much, sir, and thank you very much. Sir, so the Honorable Minister, on behalf of the Minister of National Resources, is saying the $102 million, majority is going to money is $125 million dollars being put to work, but it's ensure, sir, that their incompetence don't cause us to be suspended once again. Is that what the Honorable Minister is saying? Because if memory serves me correct, sir, we were suspended in 2023, not 2020. Can the Honorable Minister confirm this money here is to undo the flaws that they created?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I heard the honourable member speak about us completing some report that he claimed to have started under their administration. This, sir, is not a new tune. This, sir, is not a new tune. Sir, we have been regaled over the last 4 years of ideas that the APNU AFC claims to have had, none of which they were able to deliver. They thought of a bridge but couldn't build it. They thought of a road but couldn't build it. They studied some plant but they couldn't deliver it. They were studying what we would do in the gas sector but couldn't deliver a power plant or a pipeline. They were studying everything and thinking about everything but couldn't deliver it. But we will deliver, sir. They spent their entire 5 years in government thinking and generating ideas and studying and producing reports. This People's Progressive Party civic government has been delivering and will deliver actual outputs that benefit the people of Guyana.
Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much for all the lovely comments that you made, sir, about the studies. And we do acknowledge it, though, that we did a lot of studies, sir. Can the Honorable Minister confirm that this allocation of $125 million is, sir, going towards the strengthening of EITI and their templates so that the repeat of what happened in June 30, 2023 by the Board of EITI, suspending Guyana, will not reoccur? June 30th, 2023. I don't think myself or any of the other colleagues were in government at the moment.
Mr. Chairman,
Minister.
Mr. Chairman, it's a matter of public record that the EITI Secretariat restored Guyana to good standing under this People's Progressive Party civic government. It's a matter of public record, sir. It is also a matter of public record that the first piece of oil revenue received, which was a signing bonus, was hidden in a secret bank account under the APNU AFC. Those are matters of public record, sir, that the first dollar of oil revenue received by this country was the $18 million signing bonus, and it was hidden in a secret bank account. The first dollar of oil revenue was hidden in a secret bank account by the APA. One can only shudder to believe if they hid the first $18 million what they would have done and what they were planning to do with the rest when it would subsequently have been received. Those are matters of public record, sir. I believe I was clear, Mr. Chairman. I listed a number of activities. I spoke about legal and regulatory frameworks. I spoke about support for key institutions. I spoke about project management. I spoke about, and I did speak about EITI templates and strengthening them, but I was very clear are not that the AP and UFC has very limited facility when it comes to numbers, but it would appear too that they have similarly limited facility when it comes to language and comprehension. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much, sir. And on behalf of the country, sir, we're glad that the PPP Civic are now taking the EITI submission seriously, sir. Can I ask him, sir, to say to the National Assembly exactly how much of this $125 million has been apportioned to ensure that the Guyana is not further suspended once again because of the failure of the PPP government, sir?
Honorable Minister.
How much of the 102 is 125 million is allocated to that, sir?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, every ounce of this People's Progressive Party civic government's energy will be devoted to ensure that Guyana is never brought into the international discredit that it was brought into under the APNU AFC government. Not only when it comes to EITI, but in relation, making us almost a pariah state as they did in 2020. We will ensure that that never happens to Guyana again. Never again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member. Honorable Members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 26-264, Chart of Account 4404,600, capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let us invite the Honorable Minister of Public Works and his staff to take us through the next few line items. Honorable members, Agency Code 31312, Ministry of Public Works, Chart of Account 1101100, current expenditure, and capital expenditure. And I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. To the Honorable Minister, through you, 138 million, sir. Could the Honorable Minister disaggregate what this sum is for and the method of procurement that they require, that they are going to use, sir, to spend it?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And thank the honorable member for the question. Mr. Chair, this money is what will be used to pay for the repairs of the pontoon at Kokwani. And I thank the honorable member for asking the question, because I'll have an opportunity now to tell you how we got involved. The pontoon service at Kokwani under the PPPC was organized and engaged with a service provider that provided a service, and government and emergency vehicles cross free. That service provider was responsible for the repairs and maintenance of that pontoon. When we left office in 2015, the honorable member asking the question, along with his other colleagues in the cabinet, who did not understand how business is run, took the pontoon service from the provider and put it to the KNDC to operate it. So basically what happened, the pontoon continued to run. There was no repairs. There was no maintenance. The monies that were derived were used up by the KNDC, and the pontoon deteriorated. The pontoon began to sink. In order for the economic activity in that community to continue, which is primarily forestry, like we always do, the government of Guyana made an intervention. And in that intervention, we took the pontoon out of service. And with the support of the Demerara Harbor Bridge and its subcontractors, restored that pontoon to the satisfaction of all the residents in Kokwani and the users. This money represents answering a problem that was created by a government then that didn't understand what will happen when they did what they did. To have a pontoon operating without a mechanism for service and repairs. And this money is what was used to repair that pontoon and put it back into service, and to ensure that Kokwani and the people in the forestry sector continue to enjoy the service and that their economic activity and livelihood would not be affected. The method of procurement, sole source to the Demerara Harbor Bridge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Sir, in 2015, just in 2015, this pontoon was in the hands of NISIL, who gave it in the hands of a PPP operative. The government changed, and for $1, the elected NDC of Kokwani were given control of the pontoon, and the funds went to develop Kokwani. You, of course, we know how Kokwani votes. In addition to that, sir, Marad and Demerara Harbor Bridge maintained that pontoon for 4 years. The PPP took over and did absolutely nothing for 4 years, because 4 years, this is 2024. And they waited, sir, till the pontoon deteriorated and used that as an excuse to take it away from the good citizens of Kokwani and deprive them of income. And they now come to say that we don't understand. For 4 years, 8 years, sir, 2016 to 2024, it was operational and the people were able to give things. So, sir, can I ask? Yes, of course, sir. Sir, can I ask the Honorable Minister, sir, why it took you 4 years to even do any intervention for the people of Kokwani?
Honorable Minister.
$1.
Mr. Chairman, this is a public forum, Parliament. The people of Kokwani are listening to this gentleman. The pontoon at Kokwani remains with the KNDC. It is not taken away from the people of the KNDC. He said that. He just said that. To stand in this house,
to stand in this house and to tell people that the PVPC use the deteriorated state of the pontoon to take it back and to give to PVP supporter is misleading the house and is misinformation.
Okay, don't impute the honorable member misleading the host. We can use other words.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I am calling upon him to withdraw that. Because he is ascribing motive. He is ascribing motive that he cannot substantiate. And I'm calling upon him to withdraw it.
Thank you.
Calling upon him to withdraw.
Honorable member, Mr. Patterson, the honorable minister is saying that his government didn't take away that pontoon and give it to anybody else.
So
That
can I? Yes,
what
sorry,
you've
sorry.
stated may not be totally accurate.
Well, can the honorable minister say what revenue? No. What revenue if you did not?
No, we're dealing with the accuracy of the statement you made,
So
which has a lot of imputations with respect to the.
I am pleased to hear that the pontoon still remains with the Kokwani NDC. However, sir, I'm asking, what is the revenue sharing that the community of Kokwani, sir, long as you could hear me, I'm okay. Long as you could hear me, are enjoying now
No,
with the
but
pontoon.
the point we were at was the inaccuracy of your statement, which we're asking you to withdraw.
Sir, prior to 2016, it was in the hands of a PPP operative.
You just said we used
Prior,
it
and
as
it was
an occasion to
and
take it back.
Nissel, and we wrote Nissel, and Nissel said that they had a special arrangement. Prior to 2016, all the money used to go,
Correct.
and they had a special
Honorable member,
arrangement.
honorable-
And sir,
Honorable
we
member,
sold the rented the-
If honorable member, if I'm listening correct, you're speaking of the period post 2020 when the honorable minister, this government,
prior to 2016, sir, may I be pellucid? It was in the hands of a PPP operative. It was taken from the NDC, taken from that business, from Nissel, sold, handed over by cabinet to the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, who rented it, who sold it to the people of Kokwani for one single Guyana dollar. And we maintained and operated and did all the maintenance for 4 years.
honorable member, clearly what I heard was what the minister heard, that you said the current government took it. So what we'll do, we'll ask the clerk to go back. I would hate to know I have to strike it out. That people would be honorable enough, like the Prime Minister did, and say, I didn't intend to say so, so I withdraw. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for the intervention. You may now ask your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, if the House got an impression that I misspoke, I withdraw it.
Thank you.
Sir, I now ask the Honorable Minister, sir, what revenues are being paid over to the Kokwani NDC for the usage of the barge?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, if a member of this assembly who claims to represent people,
I
and
can't
more
claim. Come on,
particularly,
Minister. We are
who
exactly.
represent people of this country and represent people in Region 10, and the KNDC, or the Kokwani Neighborhood Democratic Council, is supported by a majority that went to the APNU plus AFC. APNU. Don't know that the pontoon is being operated by the KNDC. I have a difficulty with that. Secondly, for him to ask me what revenue is paid over to the owner of the barge is like asking someone who is not responsible for something to explain to the whole world why it is being done. The government is not responsible for the pontoon, neither the barge. But my understanding when we went in to repair this barge because it was sinking, and I said, look, this is what the government will do. We will bring in the people, we will fix the barge. And may I take this opportunity, Mr. Chairman, to publicly, at the national level, thank the more than 35 men who traveled to Kokwani and spent several days working day and night, even during rain, to get this project completed. We were told that the KNDC did not even have the funds to buy fuel for the generators. They did not even have funds to buy fuel for the generators that the men needed to use to work at night. If you understand business and you want to represent an issue, when the man you refer to as a PPP supporter had the pontoon marred Demerara Harbor Bridge, THD spent no money to repair it. The gentleman, from the revenues that he garnered, maintained and repaired the pontoon. You took it from that gentleman, you gave it to the KNDC, and by your own admission, you said Marad and THD for 4 years, you used government money to repair the pontoon, and the KNDC collected all the revenue, and now it's a good time to have it audited for us to be able to say where the money went. Because if you pay $22,000, Mr. Chairman, to cross a truck, and at least 5 trucks cross a day, we're supposed to have some money somewhere. We're supposed to have some money somewhere. And if the honorable member, while he was minister, used MARAD resources and THD resources to maintain a pontoon in the Kokwani area, where the PPP supporter that he's referring to used to be able to generate the money, repair and maintain the pontoon, then you're seeing a difference in management style. You're seeing the difference in management style, and that's no wonder Guyana went the way it went in the period of 2020, 2015 to 2020, when they were in office.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank
Honorable
you.
Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much.
May I complete my answer, Mr. Chairman? I'm not finished.
I think you're finished. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
And I thank the honorable member for his question, and I do appreciate it. We're going live. Mr. Chairman, I'm sure I will go, the people of Kokwani will love to hear the honorable minister say to them that they have squandered all the money, and they'll, next time he visits, they will welcome him not squander, sir. They were unable to, I withdraw that word.
No, but the question
Right.
is,
Yes. So
I may have to start asking people to state the question first and then the ramble after.
50, sir. Sir, the question is, sir, when last, sir, to the people of Kwani would love to know what the minister thinks of them and the NDC, and I'm sure I'm going to communicate that to them and play this clip to them.
But is that the right minister?
Sir, the question, no, sir, the question is, prior to this, sir, when did the ministry, prior to this intervention, which everyone is happy for, when did the Ministry of Public Work do any maintenance or provide any support for the pontoon, the barge, sir, at Kokwani, prior to this intervention here?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the pontoon is a commercial operation. The pontoon is a commercial operation. There's an operator that collects fees and provides a service. There is no need for the Ministry of Public Works to expend money to maintain the pontoon because the operator collects fees. They have to service the pontoon on the barge to keep their commercial operation going. When we went in, it is because they were unable. There was no money. The chairman, the vice chairman, and all the councillors met me in my office about several other matters. And I will not allow somebody to send a message that is inaccurate. They were appealing for help for many things. All the roads that we did in Kokwani was in consultation with them. Everything we did was in consultation with them. We didn't see PNC and PPP and so on. We went to a neighborhood democratic community, a local authority, and we consulted and engaged them. In this particular matter, it wasn't about if it's PNC or PPP. It was about the lives and livelihood of the people of Kawani and their economic future. Government went in with an intervention and restored that. We handed them back a pontoon and says, you got 7 to 10 years based upon the work that was done in open forum. Everybody was able to see what the bottom looked like, what the top looked like, what the work that had to be done. They were there cooking and carrying food for the people to make sure the work was going because all the trucks were parked, nothing was moving. So I wouldn't be admonished by someone who's ill-informed. But I will say this, Mr. Chair, to come to this house and to play politics about this pontoon is messing with the lives of the people of Kokwani when the honorable member fully well knows that the KNDC, while they received the revenue, either didn't have the capacity.
So that's the third time I'm hearing that.
Oh, good,
Right?
sir.
Repetition.
Good.
Honorable member, Mr. Patterson. Thank you. Okay, so we are all at chart of account 110-1100. The sum stated on the capital expenditure. And I put a question that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Same agency code, chart of account 140-4700, road network and expansion project. And I propose a question that the sum stated herein on the capital expenditure specific stands part of the estimates. The honorable member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, sir. Simple question, non-contentious, sir. This here is to facilitate the project closeout. Can I simply ask the minister which project or projects that they are closing out with this sum?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, there again, I thank the honorable member for the question and the opportunity to answer it. We're talking here about the Sheriff Mandela project, which was funded by the IDB. Mr. Chairman, in 2020, when we took office, this project was at a standstill. The IDB refused to disburse. The IDB refused to disburse any funds to this project because of the way it was managed. Mr. Chairman, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. The fact that most members of this house and staff and all the people of Guyana traverse Sheriff Mandela tells you about the ability of the PPPC to take dying things and resurrect it and restore it. This was one of those projects. Now that we were able to get it done, we had savings. I repeat the word, sir, savings. The project was completed and we had savings. So we agreed with the IDB some of the things that we will do with the savings. And even after the project was completed, substantial completion was achieved,
We went out to acquire some equipment and other things that will help the ministry in the execution of its work. And this is a inflow to allow for the closure of this project at this particular time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Sir, was a simple question. However, is this the same Sheriff Mandela project, sir, that was flagged twice under the PPP for corruption, sir, that contractors are banned up to today? Sir, is this the same sheriff and blacklisted, sir? You can go on the website. Is it the same? I don't think the honorable member, sir, this project, this loan was signed in 2012, 2011, sir. Twice they went out, sir. If you go on the Public Procurement Commission website right now, sir, there are two contractors who've been blacklisted, sir. Is this the same Sheriff Mandela project, sir, which the IDB Office of Professional Integrity threatened to blacklist all IDB projects, sir, because of corruption in 2014? In 2014, before we even get there, sir, is this the same project that the minister is speaking about, sir? Twice. Both times the IDB canceled it. Only project I know of, sir, under our administration, of course, we were thinking that the IDB Committee of Professional Integrity, sir, wrote not to me, sir, to the president directly to say it out. If you do not, and sir, and I don't want to call the individual's name, sir, right? If you don't, they pull all their portfolios, sir, for something done on the PPP, sir. Can I ask the honorable, is this the same project that he is speaking about?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I'm very amused. Yes, I am. The Sheriff Mandela project that I'm talking about is a project where a contractor by the name of Sino-Hydro entered into a contract under the APNU AFC. That's the Sheriff Mandela project that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the 2014 project. I'm talking about a contract that was awarded to a company, Sino-Hydro, under the APNU AFC. I'm talking about a Sheriff Mandela that the same IDB that the gentleman is referring to refused to disburse any further funds under the APNU AFC with the contract on site. That is the Sheriff Mandela project I'm talking about. So don't let us obfuscate the issue here tonight. The project that I'm talking about is one where there was zero observance of occupational health and safety. The project that I'm talking about is that even when the supervisory missions came from the IDB came here, what they found under the management of the honorable member who's asking the question was so much lacking that they refused to continue to put development funds in a project that they were worried about. In 2020 November, when we came to office, the same Sheriff Mandela Road that used to be described as the abortion road, some people forgot that. The same Sheriff Mandela Road that was the concern of many people because of all the redesigns of where did they want to expand to 4 lanes and because of who was living where and who was there. It was that same project that was not properly handled that we took over, sat with the contractor and the consultants, and got this project delivered to the people of Guyana, and they're all now enjoying it. So that is the project I'm talking about.
Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, sir. Just for can I ask, I mean, of course, sir, I would like the honor, and I acknowledge, sir, this is the IDB's project. I acknowledge that we had a free, fair, and transparent procurement, which was won by Sino Hydro under the IDB rules, and I acknowledge that, sir. But I'm sure, and what have we called him, sir? Sir, but I'm trying to ask the minister to clarify, prior to the award of contract under the IDB and our national procurement to Sino Hydro, is this not the same project, sir, where it's on the Public Procurement Commission, sir. So I can say, sir, we're in the VAR out of Brazil. Dalip Enterprises, Sabrina Mary Williams, sir. Sabrina have been debarred. Is this not the same project, sir, that's been debarred because of this by the IDB until the year, sir? So egregious was their crime, sir, until the year 2013, 12th of December 2028. Is this not the same project, sir, that the IDB wrote to the government of Guyana and asked us to remove 3 engineers on the Ministry of Public Infrastructure because
I heard what the Honorable Minister said, and I'm hearing what you're asking.
And you concluded the same project.
Honorable Minister?
Sir, simple question. Is it not the same?
Yeah, we heard, and I think the Minister heard. And I'm sure you heard what the Minister said too. Minister, one more time.
Mr. Chairman, the monies that are being sought as inflows to close out this project is an IDB funded road project where the contractor was Sino Hydro, awarded under the tenure of the APNU AFC, where the Honorable Member Mr. Patterson was the Minister of Public Infrastructure. It is the same project that the IDB refused to disburse any monies because of what was taking place on it. So we're not talking about a contract with Dalip or anybody out of Brazil. We're talking about a contract that was entered into under the watch of the Honorable Member who's asking the question. We had savings, and this is what we did with the monies in agreement with the IDB. They did not only disburse for us to finish the road, even when we had savings, they were so satisfied. They worked with us to find adequate ways of utilizing all the remaining funds. And that's what we're asking for here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member Mr. Patterson.
Sir, I thank the Minister for his clarification and his acknowledgement, right? That, of course, is the same project that that was.
Honorable Member, please.
What, sir?
Right? The Minister is very specific with respect to what this allocation is for, and in particular, the companies, and the extra work done because of the savings. And that's current.
Sir, I acknowledge, sir, the same loan portfolio from the IDB.
But I don't know which same loan we're talking about.
Sir,
right?
the loan.
Which part of that same loan?
Sir, this project was tendered twice on the PPP.
I heard enough on this. And I think the House heard enough on it. Let us move on.
No, thank you, sir. And people of Guyana can Google what is there, of course. They know. Twice, debarred.
Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for chart of account 1404700 capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, let us start the Order 1-313. Ministry of Public Works, Transport, and I propose the question that the sum stated on the capital for chart of account 2700700 ferry vessel and Stelling stands part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Honorable
Chair.
Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I recognize that this sum is actually loan given by the IDB to facilitate project closeout. So I'm asking I would like to ask the honorable member. I note here you have ferry vessel and stellings. So can you disaggregate the monies that will go towards the ferry stelling and also the ferry, and which ferry you're talking about, and stellings also? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And thank the honorable member for asking the question. The ferry that we're talking about
Go
is
ahead.
the ferry that should have been built, that was not built. It is the ferry where there was a line of credit to build the Ogle to Eccles road that is now being built, and the ferry that goes to Region 1, which came as a line of credit when President Ramatar visited India, and it was established. That was before 2015. We returned to office in 2020. There was no road and there was no ferry. And the money was still there. The member asking the question was the minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure who had responsibilities for this. There was no road and there was no ferry. So what we did, Mr. Chairman, is that we were able, with the shortest possible time, to deliver to the people of Guyana the ferry, the MV Militia, that services the Region 1 area, that is air conditioned, carries 276 passengers, has Wi-Fi on board, cabins and facilities that the people are now enjoying. It is the same ferry. It ain't got nothing to do with stellings, but the subhead in terms of allocation for budgetary expenditure. The honorable member was a minister, would know that the subhead is stellings and ferry. This is the retention money to close out the program. That's all this is for, sir.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that is sum stated for chart of account 2700700, ferry vessel and stellings. Capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum now stands part of the estimates. Thank you very much, Minister and PS, for taking us through that. Honorable members, we have 21 items in this financial paper, and we are at item 5. So clearly, we will go long beyond the time stipulated. So can I ask the Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs to move the motion that we go till we complete the business of the day?
Yes, sir. We would like to, I think, under Standing Order 10, that we proceed and to conclude the sitting today with the passage of the supplementary financial paper, that we allow to continue past the normal hour.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, the question is that we continue until we conclude the business of today. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let us now invite the Honorable Minister of Education and her team to take us through the next item. And that item is Agency Code 40-406, Ministry of Education, post-secondary slash tertiary, chart of account 6301. Thank you. We welcome Dr. Professor, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Paloma Mohammed Martin. Honorable members, item 6, Agency Code 40-406, Ministry of Education, Chart of Account 6301, and I propose a question that the sum stated herein on the current expenditure stands part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Mahi Paul.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Comrade Chairman, the sum that is requested here is $1,161,911,292. May I ask the Honorable Minister if this is the sum that will fill the gap with reference to when the announcement was made for free tertiary education to December, if this is the amount for all the students at the University of Guyana?
Honorable Minister.
This is the amount that will meet the costs of the university from now to December, the end of December.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member Mahi Paul.
Thank you, sir. One follow-up question, and I would appreciate if the minister can lay the answer over. Would the minister be kind enough to provide this house with a breakdown of the tuition cost for each faculty program that was in existence before the announcement for free tuition cost? And secondly, is the free tuition, the free education, does it also cater for the miscellaneous fees like the lab fees, sport fees, student fees, and so on? Tuition costs and miscellaneous, does it encompass everything?
Honorable Minister.
So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, honorable members, the PPPC, when it went to the electorate, before it created its manifesto about what it would do when it came into office, sought the views of the electorate as far as their needs went. So, meeting after meeting, bottom house after bottom house, consultation after consultation, we met with Guyanese, particularly young people, who said that what would be of great assistance to them would be if they could access tertiary education, post-secondary education that was free. As a result of that, a program was crafted on the Guyana Online Academy of Learning, where collaborations with foreign universities are had. We're working currently with 20 foreign universities to provide certificates, degrees, PhDs, masters at no cost to the student. The government picks up that cost. Happily, I report that we have more than 30,000 Guyanese people benefiting from that program, the first of its kind in the country. The second promise was that we would look at the University of Guyana in two tracks. One, to provide free university education, and two, to provide a pathway for the relief of those who had debts at the university. Happily, President Ali has announced in this House that beginning January 2025, university education in Guyana at the University of Guyana will be free. That includes the tuition as well as fees, miscellaneous and otherwise, that students had to pay. That is a stark difference from what happened under the AP and UAFC, when fees at the university were raised by more than 40%. When the university was met with rising costs, instead of the government innovating around that and funding it, they pass that cost on to the young people of this country. That is not what this PPPC government is doing. And so we're very happy to say to you that this free university education relates to both tuition as well as miscellaneous costs that ordinarily would have been passed on to the student learner at the university.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman, and it is good to hear that university education will once again be free. Sir, may I ask the Honorable Minister if from this sum requested, $1.162 billion, may I ask what is the increase that is catered for here in terms of the percentage for the lecturers and other staff members at the University of Guyana?
So this sum caters for all the university's costs between now and December 31st, including employment costs.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member.
Thank you, sir. So can we have the percentage of increase that will be given to the lecturers and other staff members at the University of Guyana?
I'm not sure what you're prefacing your question on. I said this will meet all the employment costs and other costs of the University of Guyana in accordance with what the institution has asked for from now to the 31st of December, including salaries that have to be paid to lecturers and other auxiliary staff.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
So finally, will there be an increase in salary for staff members at the University of Guyana, lecturers and other staff? Will there be, yes or no?
Honorable Minister.
As I said, we're dealing with a particular line item here, sir, that addresses $1.161 billion. This $1.161 billion plus will address all employment costs between now and the 31st of December at the University of Guyana.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that is sum stated for Agency Code 40-406, Ministry of Education, Chart of Account 6301. Current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, VC and staff of the University of Guyana. We now invite the Honorable Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport and his team to take us through the next line item. Honorable members, I now propose a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 44-444, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, Chart of Account 450-6400, Ground Enhancement Program, And I propose the question that the sum stated herein for capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Nima Flew Best.
Thank you. Thank you, Committee Chair. Based on what I've seen written here in the remarks column, I would like to ask the Honorable Minister, what does the current work program entails?
Thank you very much, Comrade Chairman.
Go ahead, Honorable Minister.
The ground enhancement program is where the ministry invests in community grounds all across the country. The country has a deficit in investment and requires a lot more investment. Traditionally, prior to 2015, we were investing about $300 million in community grounds every year. And when the previous administration came into government, they had cut that funding by about 60%. And community grounds are very peculiar in this particular nature, which is that it requires continuous investment. The ministry received $1 billion for community grounds at the last budget reading. And I want to share with the Honorable House the locations, some of the locations that we have done already for to use that expenditure for. Warramuri, Himacabra, Liberty, Anna Regina, Virgin Hugen, Dikendren, Zeeburg, Metamirzorg, Hague, Seaview, Metamirzorg, Kastev, Parika, Salem, Stewartville, Pasture, Lenora Primary, K-Wall School, Schoonard, Two Brothers School Ground, Good Fortune NDC Ground, Westminster Multipurpose Ground, Zealot Old Scheme Ground, Westminster Ground, Hague Back Dam, Parika Back, Cornelia Ida, Stewartville Secondary, iFlood, Bunbury, Farm, Denhamstill, Green Park, Groenveld, Bellevue, Wakenham, Potentia, Hugh Anderson and Good Fortune, Sanssouci, Tushen, Arterville, St. Lawrence, Windsor Forest, Ruby Bach, CI, Farnham, St. Stephen's, Farmers Ground in Sophia, Turkine, Sunflower, Lamaha Springs, Prashad Nagar, Kanuku Street, Blegazet, St. Pius, Lodge, Lamaha Park, Cadet Lane, Liliendal, Tocqueville, Seafield, Alma Avenue, South Rumbelt Gardens, ER Boroughs Festival City, Epping Avenue, Tuckett Drive, Camptown Ground, High Palm, Agricola, Houston, East Rumbelt, Victoria, Two Friends, Dutch 4, Good Hope, Helena, Bell West, Jonestown, Belfield, Section B, Nunprel, Plaisance, Lancaster, Success, Hopetown, Camarang, and then in addition to that, working with the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs during the Two Shows Conference, we also $246 million for those communities. So that exhausted the sum, Comrade Speaker. Now, for our work program that we're looking to do for this 400 million, this is a non-exhaustive list. BV, the Polders, Wim, Cotton Tree, number 5, Bath, Pleasance, Sparendam, Blairmont, Pigeon Island, Nonpareil, Section D, Cane Grove, well, 2 grounds in Cane Grove, Viceroy South, Monrepo, Jai Hind, De Hoop, Victoria, Better Hope, Ansgrove, Tushen, Lenora, Christianburg, and Hope Estate. This is a non-exhaustive list. This is a list that we also, through with my cabinet colleagues, they also have some special requests for some locations, along with His Excellency, to capture some of the areas that have not been covered. But this program has been one of the most important programs from the ministry. We have done a lot of grounds. In fact, it's been over 400 community grounds we've invested in since coming into government, and the transformation has been fantastic. It has been remarkable. So I am, and just to be clear, Mr. Speaker, this program is a program that will need continuous investment over the years in order to get all of the community grounds in this country up to a certain standard, and that is our intention. As you can see from the sheer numbers that we have done, we are looking to invest in every single community ground and community space so that we can have good public space for all of our citizens to have access to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Nima Flobes.
Thank you, Comrade Chair. I did not receive the answer that I asked for. My question is very direct. What does the current work program entail? What the minister did is give me a list of about 93 grounds. I don't know what was done on the grounds. So I wanted to get an idea, what exactly are they doing on these grounds? So saying that the minister went through the time to explain or to call the names of these grounds, then I would like to know what work was actually done on at least 5 of the grounds, so that I can get an idea.
At least
You're
5 of the
asking for
grounds?
some. I'm not
So,
finished.
Sure.
The
I'm
minister is
happy.
asking for some additional monies, and in the legend it says for expanded work program. So I need to get an idea what is the current work program and what aspect of the work program does he intend to expand. So I didn't get
Just
an
be
answer.
careful, because you just opened the door for him to repeat all he just said.
Well,
Because you said the current, and he mentioned all, and he did mention all the grounds which he will cover with this new allocation. Minister,
Mr.
that's
Chair,
what I heard.
Mr. Chair,
You can go ahead.
excuse me. I will be direct again. I asked, what does the current work program entails? The minister listed a set of grounds, but he didn't say what was done. So I'm asking for the first 5 grounds on his list to say what was done on these grounds. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So generally, our focus is on getting the grounds usable. So it depends on the circumstances for the ground. So let's use Liberty, for example. We had to do the empoldering, and this is in Region 2 in the Pomeroon. That's this is just an example of what we had to do. Empoldering and the installation of HDPE tubes, the construction of a fence, construction of a timber bridge, and the completion of a pavilion. That is one location. So those are several projects that we would do on one location. And every single ground has their own unique situation. Some might need a fence, some might need bridge access, some might need a pavilion, some might need lights. So let's use another location. Virgin Hugen, we did the construction of a fence and we did landfilling. De Kindren, repairs to a fence. In Zeeburg, we did repairs to a fence and landfilling. Metermeerzorg, landfilling. in Hague Seaview, landfilling and construction of a fence. So those are the 5, but we've focused specifically on getting the ground usable. Access, which is if they need a bridge access, culverts, with concrete bridges with culverts, making sure that they're high enough so that they don't flood, and then protecting them from animals, particularly cows and horses, because once you do work to the ground, you don't want the animals to come in and destroy the ground in the work that's already done. So some grounds are already beyond that space in terms of just having that, because we would have done the investment already. So let's say they ask for a washroom, or they ask for a pavilion, or they ask for lights. For example, just this weekend, we were in Charlestown and Farnham ground, and we put in the lights in those locations. And we're going to continue to do that. So the point that I'm making is, that's not what the question was asked, but we're happy to discuss all of the projects. Every single ground has more than one project. Almost every single ground will have more than one project. And when you go back to the location again, they will have something else that they want. Because like I said, every single facility has a deficit in what is needed and what they want, and for the usage that they would want to use it for. So those are some of the projects that we completed.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Nima Flo-Bess.
Thank you, Minister, for your answer. I note that during our budget presentation and questioning, there was 251 grounds listed in your legend where you explained the target for 2024. We asked for a list of those grounds to be laid over to the House, and we never got a copy of it. And that was supposed to be covered by this $1 billion. So when I looked at 251 grounds, which was your target, and I divided that, I note that there was over $3 million expected to be spent on each of the grounds. But the list of grounds you've given, which is just about 93, and the explanation that you have given for that, you're saying that the $1 billion being expended completely. So, follow-up question. I know that you are in Bel Air, I think it is, where you did a ground and a bridge was done. There's no fencing there, and I noticed that there are horses grazing on that ground. From this $400 million that you're going to be, you're asking the Assembly for, will any monies be spent on that facility?
Yeah, I think I've answered that question already.
Honorable Minister.
I've answered the question already.
Honorable Member, Ms. Nima Flo-Bess. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, on the ferry line item, the honorable member listed in excess of 93 grounds, or approximately 93 grounds that they did for 2024. But can he say to the National Assembly whether those works were tendered out?
Yes,
and what?
all tender. We followed public procurement.
Let her complete, Minister, please.
You're too quick. So, yes, Mr. Chair, thank you for protecting me. So can the Honorable Minister inform the National Assembly what method of procurement was used to effect the works, and whether with this expanded program, whether there will be a public tendering, and what method he intends to use? Thank you very
Honorable
much.
Minister.
Yeah, so the honorable member will never need protection from me. Just to be clear about that. But yes, we follow all the laws of Guyana, which includes the public procurement process. As you can read through our audit